Okay, hi guys. Just going to in this video just show you a few things, just go over a few things which we touched upon on Friday. I'm using Alana's data here, but obviously the same thing will hold true for the other group. So we have all our data, and we have our pivot table. I think both groups have this. Let's get rid of these extra sheets. Just right click, delete those. Oops. Okay, so we have our pivot table and our raw data. Always make sure that the total there, 50 or whatever it is in the other group, is the number in the rows. You know, the number of rows equals the number in the pivot table. Otherwise, if you start doing pivot table analysis on a total less than your grand total, you won't have all your cases in your pivot table results. Okay, so we know how to bring fields down. We've already done that and made simple cross tabulations. That's fine. Let's just move that out of the way. Let's just go over grouping again. Let's say, for instance, I wanted to group these parishes by whether they're rural or urban. Just need to sort them out just by putting all the urban at the top. So St Helier, St Bernard, and St Clement are urban, and the rest are rural. So to make a group here, we just highlight the ones we want to group. St Helier, St Bernard, St Saviour, St Clement, right click, group. And again with the other ones, the ones which are remaining, right click, group. So now we have two groups, and we can call that one urban and call that one rural. And we can just move that one out of the way. So now we have a new grouping, and what I recommend you do, you give it a nice colour, the ones you make up, so you know what's going on there. And we'll call this parish grouped. Okay, and let me just put that there for a second. So we've got urban and rural. If you want to make sure they're all lined up, just highlight the columns and center a line. And let's make a cross tab of grouped parish by overall satisfaction with the emergency services. And here we've got an array of answers: dissatisfied, neutral, satisfied, very satisfied, and blank. The blank ones are people who don't answer the question, and we won't be able to include those. So if you just click on blank and then click Control minus, it gets rid of them. Now we just put these responses in order. So very satisfied goes at the top, dissatisfied, neutral, and satisfied. Oops. Very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied. And what I want to do is group satisfied and people who aren't satisfied. So again, like I did with the parish, like I did with this new variable, if I just highlight two fields and group, highlight the other two fields and group one will call satisfied, and group two will call not satisfied. If you're neutral, you're not satisfied. Okay, and we can just move that old refined answer, overall satisfaction, out of the way. And we'll give this colour, and we'll give it a title. We'll call it grouped overall satisfaction. Okay, now let's make a graph from these figures. So we'll just click anywhere in the pivot table, go to insert, go to line graph, and here we have a nice line graph. And what does that tell us? I'll just get rid of the lines. Just click on the lines, delete them. You see this little key here? We don't need that. I'll show you why if you just get rid of that. The best thing to do with these 2x2s is to click on them and then go up here to layout, data table here, and then show data table with legend keys at the bottom, and then you get a little table below. I don't like outlines either, so I just click anywhere on the graph, format chart area, border color, no line, and that's fine. Okay, so we have a graph showing us two lines. One is urban, rural, then satisfied, not satisfied with overall emergency services. It tells me that those who are living in an urban parish are more likely to be not satisfied or less likely to be satisfied than those who are living in rural parishes. And we can put this 2x2 into a chi-square analysis to test for significance. And the way we do that is to copy the data. Right click, copy from the pivot table. I'm just going to have to bring up the spreadsheet. I should have done that before I started the video. Just bear with me a second. Just open up the spreadsheet. We go to the chi-square table. I think we've done this before, and we can paste our data here. So we paste special values, and we have the outset. We have the outputs. The chi-square value is 3.38 and the p is 0.06. 0.06 isn't 0.05, so it's non-significant, but it's very nearly significant. So let's just recap what we've done. We've grouped two variables, parish of residence by satisfaction with emergency services. We have a nice little graph here, 2583, and the analysis using Yates correction for small cell values has returned 0.06. So how do we write this up in our report? Well, first of all, we copy the graph, open up a Word document, and we paste special as a picture, and then we just text in front. If we click write text wrapping in front of text, that means we can now move it around. So I'm just going to put it down there for a second. Then I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet. I'm just going to 0.06, just check that, and just start the write up here. So we'll say parish of residence was grouped according to was grouped into rural and urban divisions, something like that. When cross-tabulated with overall satisfaction with the emergency services, when cross-tabulated with overall satisfaction with the emergency services, those living in urban parishes, and you'll have to tell the reader in a footnote what those parishes are, showed less satisfaction than those in, sorry, it's my clock chiming, rural parishes. And then, whoops, I can't spell, parishes, and then you'll put in brackets see figure 1 below. Okay, and then you'll put in the figure, and the figure goes here. Don't forget the figure needs a title. This will be figure 1, parish of residence by satisfaction, or satisfaction by parish of, that should be satisfaction by parish of residence. Just bear me a second. There we go. Satisfaction by parish of residence, full stop. And then we'll say the above figures were analysed using a 2 by 2 chi-square that showed a moderately significant effect. And then we put in brackets p equals 0.06. Now I've told you about rounding up, but when the p-value is non-significant but approaching significance, like 0.06 is, we actually put the exact value in. So we briefly described the day, so we put a graph in, we've labelled the graph and given it a number, and then we just mentioned that the chi-square analysis showed a moderately significant effect. Okay, we could say something like the effect approached but did not reach significance. So that's fine. So let's just go back and just have another look. So we've grouped two variables using our grouping function. We've made a little graph. We've done our chi-square in our spreadsheet, which you can find on my Moodle folder, and we've written it up. And that's the process required for all of your key variables here. Okay? Well, that'll do for now. I'll try and do another video over the weekend, and I'll post on Moodle. This time we'll look at something like these items here, or